Morning all, just a quick video talking about some of the possible transfers that we had in January. I've seen loads of videos on YouTube, 5 players who signed for Newcastle in January, and you've got the likes of like Kessié from AC Milan, and you know, some people saying, I watched, is it the Football Daily podcast, whatever, they had some absolute clown on who's saying that we should go for Emil Smith-Rowe in January. Maybe in the summer, it won't happen, but maybe in the summer we could have a little nibble at it, but Jesus. So, yeah, I've narrowed it down to, I've got 4 players, but in 3 positions, because the likelihood of us signing 5 or more players in January, it's unlikely, isn't it? Because to be, you know, the size of the squad, you know, we're gonna have to try and get some people out, and it's just not gonna happen. So 4 players. We've got a centre-back midfielder and a striker. We've got 2 centre-backs, just to give it a bit of an option, bit of leeway. So the first option, and it's, some people might roll their eyes at this because I'm not the first to say it, I'm sure I won't be the last, but James Tarkovsky from Burnley. Obviously we're gonna have to pay a bit of English tax on him. You know, I've heard Sean Dyche rate him at 50 million quid. They aren't having 50 million quid in January, of course. But, you know, he's strong, good in the air, good leader. Got enough time left in his career that it wouldn't be a 1 or 2 year thing. You know, he's a decent player. He's had some very, very good performances for Burnley. Part of a very steady and reliable, strong back line. So I think he would be a good addition. It's just the price is the only problem with him. And obviously Burnley are a direct rival, direct competitor of ours at the minute. You know, I think they're 1 or 2 places ahead of us, and we've got them coming up. So come January, hopefully we would have climbed above them. Will Sean Dyche want to sign his best centre-back to a relegation rival? Unlikely. Therefore, I have a spare. Nat Phillips from Liverpool. In fact, the last 3 players are from Liverpool. This is just off the top of my head that I've just been thinking about whilst I've been in the car today. So Nat Phillips. Now, Liverpool were crucified with defender injuries last season, and for a period of time, Nat Phillips was thrust, into the first team. I remember a standout game that I watched with my brother, a Liverpool fan, which was Liverpool against Burnley. And Nat Phillips, not only did he score a goal, but he was titanic in defence. Bit of an old school centre-back. He's fairly quick but not rapid. He reads the game well, he heads everything, which at the minute I think is someone we need. That used to be Jamal Lascelles. You know, he's strong. He's obviously worked with the likes of, or he's trained with the likes of Joel Matip, who I think is massively underrated, Virgil van Dijk, Joe Gomez, and, you know, Liverpool brought in another centre-back ahead of him, so I think he would be open to that move. Another option in the transfer merry-go-round would be Burnley getting Nat Phillips, and as a result let Tarkovsky sign for us. But I think Nat Phillips, I think he would be a good option. I think this one suits him as much as, if not more, than it suits the club, because he's at a fantastic club in Liverpool, but he's not getting any game time, and let's be honest, he ain't going to get any game time anytime soon unless injuries do strike the Reds again. Next player, Liverpool also. This one makes sense from a family point of view, because I can remember when I was at school and college, obviously gossiping about transfers and the latest transfer rumours. You're like, oh, just sign such and such a player. And now, obviously, being a dad myself, I'm now a father of 2. You can appreciate the logistics behind such a move. Like, for example, Eddie Howe, our new managerial extraordinaire. Very impressive press conference yesterday, I must say. Like most Ting fans, I'm glued to the social media clips we've seen of him training, you know, on the pitch with the players. But anyway, you know, just from him moving from the south coast up to Newcastle. I know it's a long way, but you know, he's got 2 kids. I think he said, you know, moving schools, you got to think about all that. They're not coming up till after Christmas as a result of that. It's not just as simple as jumping on a plane and signing a contract. You know, how the family going to feel, how's the missus going to feel, how the kids going to feel, you know, if you've got kids that age, you know, leaving their friends, moving away from family, etc, etc. So with a little bit of that in mind, I've gone around the houses here, a little bit of that in mind, my next pick, our midfield pick, would be Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Now obviously, after saying all that, you can say, what's he on about? The Ox is a Londoner. Is he a Londoner? Or he's from Southampton? Either way, Southerner, if you like. Yes, but his missus, I forget her name now, from Little Mix, is a Geordie. So I doubt she would be opposed to moving back home, if you like, from Merseyside, should the opportunity arise. Obviously, I'm pretty sure, did the Ox start for Liverpool at the weekend or in the Champions League? Great player. He starts the odd game, but he's not a regular starter, is he? You know, the likes of Thiago Alcantara, Jordan Henderson, Fabinho, you know, they're all ahead of him in the pecking order, unfortunately. And he is capable of moments of absolute brilliance. Like, we all remember the Man City goal in the Champions League. You know, fantastic player. And I just think he's at a stage of his career where, go back to, you know, she's obviously moved to Liverpool with him. You could move back to Newcastle with her. A couple of years at the Tomb, picking up some very healthy wages, might I add. And I just think it could be a move that could suit all parties. Obviously, the only disparity, the same with Nat Phillips, Oxlade-Chamberlain, and the next pick would be going from a team who's right at the top, challenging, looking like one of the premier picks in the Champions League, but also one of the better teams in the Premier League. You know, they're up there with Chelsea as the favourites right now. Going from then down to, you know, we could still be in the relegation zone come Christmas. Hopefully we're not. Hopefully we can beat the likes of Burnley, Norwich, Brentford we've got coming up. They are must-win games. Hopefully if we can, and then get 1 or 2 points out of the Arsenal, Leicester, City, Liverpool run, you know, we could be out of the relegation zone by then. But, you know, why would they want to leave Liverpool to come to a relegation candidate? The Green has got a lot to talk here. But I think that one makes sense, like I said, primarily because he's not getting a lot of game time at Liverpool, or he's not guaranteed game time, and his missus is from the area, so it keeps the family happy, doesn't it? Next, Divock Origi. I was clutching at this one, to be honest. I was trying to think of a striker. I was like, oh, you know, none of the teams in and around us are realistically going to sell us a striker. Obviously, James Toney. Fucking, he used to be a boxer, didn't he? Ivan Toney came to mind. He's Brentford's vocal point, their front man. He does so much more than just score goals for them. That ain't happening. Adam Armstrong, same thing really at Southampton. I know he's only scored a couple of goals, but yeah. You thought none of the teams in and around us are going to sell us their striker. And anyone who's on their bench is probably no better than what we've got on the bench, i.e. Dwight Gale. So I had to think, you know, the top teams, who don't they use? Now, Divock Origi, it was just Firmino, Salah and Mane ahead of him. Now it's Firmino, Salah, Mane, Jota ahead of him. I think he's a player who would fit in well at the Tomb. He's not getting all that much game time in Liverpool. He plays in the Cups and he's there as a backup for injuries, but he doesn't fit that front three system. Whereas if you take out, the only one who's probably completely irreplaceable in terms of style and replicating their style is Firmino. But if you take out Salah and Mane, Jota can slot right in. Obviously, he's not as good a player as Mane or Salah, but, you know, you can slot him to replicate what they do and sort of impersonate. Whereas Origi is just a different player, isn't he? I think Divock up top with Callum Wilson could do some serious damage. Serious damage. So yeah, I mean, that's the car park now. I'm gonna go and do some shopping at fucking 8 o'clock in the morning. But there you go. There's, off the top of my head, 3 players with a backup option that we should perhaps go for in January. There's going to be much more videos to come on this sort of thing. I'm already now thinking of players in my head that we should go for in the summer, providing we stay in the Premier League. You know, there's obviously be some bigger names in there. But for January, I think a trio from Liverpool could do us a world of good. Just quickly before I go, can anyone here remember the last time a team sold 3 players to the same team in one go? I can't remember, but there we go. Nat Phillips or James Tarkovsky, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Divock Origi, I think would be some smart business. Anyway, cheerio.